is Dr. Terry Winfrey, and I want to welcome all of you to this exciting event. We have a lot of things planned, and before we begin, I want to start it off by asking Apostle White to please come forward, and he's going to give a blessing for us. So, Apostle White.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can I have your attention, please? I'm trying to pray so that you don't choke because you didn't pray first. And so, since we didn't pray first, let's pray now, all right? That we'll have a wonderful evening and that all will be well as we go forward. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this time, this privilege that we can come before this chamber. We thank you for the prayers of the righteous. We thank you for all of these who work so diligently out here in Southland to do great things for the kingdom of God, as well as for our local communities. Now bless the food that we have consumed and that which we are going to consume. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Come on, bless the Lord with those hand claps. Come on, come on.
Thank you so much for being here. Have you heard the joke about the donut maker who had to close his shop? He was fed up with the whole business. Obviously, he wasn't a part of the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, because if he was, he wouldn't quit. The Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce is an invaluable partner for businesses of all sizes. Locally, the Chamber has helped small businesses in Flossmoor, linking them with marketing and financial services that have helped them survive the pandemic and thrive coming out of it. And one thing that I'm really proud of is that not one business closed their doors in Flossmoor during the pandemic thanks to their efforts. I want to thank Tom Fagan for his support of events that promote local businesses and public art. Tom gets it. The two go hand in hand and actually enhance each other. I want to thank Terry Winfrey for partnering with the Village of Flossmoor to host events that bring people together to promote chamber businesses. Terry knows how important community building is to business growth and development, and I know that each and every one of you here tonight agree, because all of us in this room spend significant amounts of time bringing people together and serving others. And that brings me to the woman of the hour, Bonita Parker. Hi, Bonita. She's a friend, obviously, to a lot of people who are all here to support her tonight. Someone we can all rely on, and occasionally even our meteorologist, because if Bonita says a storm's coming, you best believe it's coming. She's also an advocate for STEM education and career opportunities, and a champion of the South Suburbs. She's going to do an incredible job for us this year, all while wearing her 4-inch stilettos. Thank you so much for coming out to the Village of Flossmoor tonight. Don't be strangers. Bring your family back for dinner at one of our wonderful, one-of-a-kind restaurants in downtown Flossmoor. Shop our small businesses in downtown Flossmoor. Consider hosting your next corporate event at one of our Flossmoor restaurants. And please enjoy the evening, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you. And Mayor Michelle is just one of our many elected officials that are in the room. So I'm going to, I would like to say let's hold the applause to the end, but I know that usually never happens, so that's okay. But I would like to recognize the elected officials that are in the room that we have, that we know, that registered and signed in. If I miss anyone, we'll try to acknowledge those at the end. I'll start with Debbie Myers-Martin, Illinois State Representative. Bryant representing Congresswoman Kelly's office. Bola Delano representing Susan Mendoza's office. Sorry, Susanna Mendoza. Village of Matson Village President Sheila Chalmers Curran. And we have a lot of representation from the Village of Park Forest. We have Trustee Aaron Sloan, Trustee Maya Hardy, Trustee Tiffany Graham, Trustee Candace Heron, Trustee Settles, and Trustee Joe Woods. Thank you. And in Richton Park, we have Village President Rick Reinbold, Trustee Julie Alexander, and Trustee Cynthia Butler. And from the Village of Phoenix, we have the Mayor, Terry Wells, who also serves the South Suburban College Board. And Pat Mahon is here representing Mayor Don DeGraff from the Village of South Holland. And Mayor Bernard Ellsbury is here, the president from Village of Hazelcrest, who's also our president 2024. You'll see him a little bit later. And then we also from Village of Hazelcrest have Trustee Ben Ramsey, Sandra Slayton, and then we also have someone else who was not on that list. I'll catch her on the later list, okay? And I'm also with Flossmoor, we did have also one of the trustees, George Lofton, and also from Flossmoor School District 161, David Lanier. Okay, we have a few more. Patty Item, the mayor from the Village of Lansing. And our own past chairman, a village president, Village of Glenwood, Ron Gardner. And Calvin Jordan, Rich Township Supervisor. And we have some formers as well. We have Al Riley, former state representative. And then I have a couple others that, Donna Miller, Cook County Commissioner. And we have Lauren Wells, the clerk of Thornton Township, and also School District 151. Jackie Small, trustee for Rich Township. And Jay Reddy, trustee from Prairie State College, my alma mater. And Luanne Peters, former deputy governor in the state of Illinois, and I understand the first African-American woman to hold that position. So welcome to her as well. And a few that are not elected professionals, elected officials, but they are professionals that we work with and we partner with very often. I'd like to recognize Percy Scott from Chamber 57, Jim Garrett from the Chicago Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau, and also Christy DeLaurentis from the South Suburban Mayors and Managers. And I do apologize if I did not get anyone, if they missed the sign-in at the front. But welcome to all of you, and those that are not elected officials, there's a lot of you here too. So thank you, we're so glad, we're very excited. This is a day that we are kicking off something. I've been a part of a lot of these meetings and a lot of these events. This is super exciting, and a lot of it is just the energy that we have here that is based on Miss Bonita Parker. So now at this point, I have the opportunity. I'd like to call up our past chairman, Tom Fagan. Tom Fagan, where are you? So the past chairman go way in the back of the room, I'm guessing. Not intentional, not intentional. So those of you that were at our event last year, our chairman, Tom Fagan, last year came out singing. He has a theater background, so he literally came out singing. So we've been teasing Bonita all year to see what are you going to do to top this. So Tom, thank you for your year. I've certainly enjoyed working with you, so congratulations.
Thank you, Terry. It's truly been an honor to be in this group and share this community. There's been so many people that I've met over the last 7 or 8 years that I've been around. It goes very fast. And those relationships that I made are very precious to me. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank the executive board that served this year, or last year. especially one that is leaving. Johan, where are you? Johan Fernando. We can't thank you enough for coming. Where are you? Thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication. We did spend a lot of time this year, 55 events, 1,200 attendees partook, 75 committee meetings. We did numerous ribbon cuttings. Terry was very, very influential in those. Business after hours, please this year, under Bonita's tutelage, please come to those business after hours. They're great events and great networking opportunities for everyone. And we're still doing the Flossmoor Chamber Night, Illinois Philharmonic with the Illinois Philharmonic Orchestra, and of course our annual golf outing in the summer, and our holiday sports luncheon in December. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This has been a great year for me, and without further ado, I would like to pass it on to my ComEd sister, Miss Bonita Parker. See, I gave her the gavel, but I didn't give her the mic yet. Congratulations.
Oh my goodness, thank you all so much. And I would be short stopping if I didn't say that I am peacock proud and hyena happy to accept this gavel, along with the tremendous responsibility that I know it brings. And all I can do is pray your strength that God will use me to continue to do good work in the Southland. This is a great community. I love the Southland. Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce. We have some great things in store this year. At this point, because of course, none of this can be done in a silo, none of this can be done alone. And I appreciate each and every one of you all for being here this evening, because you kind of make me feel like you're gonna roll with me. And I appreciate that. But what I want to do at this moment is to recognize the executive board that will be part of the 2023 cabinet. Starting first and foremost with my past chair. Where'd you go, Tom? You can't get away that easy. You're still on the executive board. Come on back. Let's give it up for Tom Fagan. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for laying a great foundation for me to continue to do. Okay, so the first assignment you have, can you hold my gavel for a minute? Thank you. The next person I'm gonna call up will be the 2024 chair-elect, none other than the man who really is passionate about economic development, and that is our very own Mayor Bernard Alsberry. Give it up, give it up. He'll be your chairman in 2024. The person that keeps us out of trouble, double checks and triple checks everything we do, none other than Tom Gardner, our legal counsel. Tom, come on down. Unable to join us tonight because he's probably somewhere crunching numbers from the ticket sales for this event, but we do want to give a hand of praise to Ed Milkins, who serves as our treasurer. And the person who will make sure we keep good records as well, who is my sister in the utility world, please give it up for none other than Miss Pat Eves Hurd. She will serve as our secretary. That's my night corps sister. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to the 2023 Chamber of Commerce Executive Board. Thank you all. Thank you in advance for your service. Thank you. All right, thank you, Tom. All right, the next thing we're gonna do, Terry and I, we have some more recognizing to do, don't we, Terry? Okay, you want me to move my book? I think your book has more notes in it than my book, so we'll get you your book. So at this point, we're going to start with the past presidents. All right, we're going to start with the past presidents. Tom, you're going to get a workout tonight, Tom. You can just stand. You can just stand. The 2022 past chair is Tom Fagan.
And our 2021 past chair is Connie Sims from Bank Financial.
And I'm sorry, Tom works for Azabar. I forgot to say Azabar Government Solutions. Our 2020 past chair, Mr. Craig Schmidt from Governor State University.
2019 chairman of the board was Ron Gardner from the Village of Glenwood.
All right, the 2017 chairperson was Dee Sedberry from Dee Sedberry Consultings, was Deb Sedberry.
And 2015 from Fronteras Photography is none other than Jorge Norick.
From 2007, the man who started all this trouble out here, my other utility brother. Let's give it up for Sam Baylark from AT&T.
And we also have with us tonight Miss Terry Brenner, who is with the 2005 chairman with Advocate Hospital. Terry Brenner. So the chamber is, 38 years old, so there's many others, but these are the ones that were with us tonight, and we all learn from them and build on them, and so it's very exciting. And so now the others you've already met are executive committee from the board, but our other board members that are here tonight, we'd like to ask you to stand and be recognized, and I'll start with Ms. Vicki Brown from Millicent and Associates. Vicki Brown.
And in addition to being one of our board members, she's also the co-chair of our marketing committee. Ms. Cherie Board from Franciscan Alliance.
Okay, and we have Rick Bryant representing Congresswoman Kelly's office on our board, and he co-chairs our Government Affairs Committee.
We have Mr. Paul Donahue from University of Chicago Medicine, and he is the co-chair of our Health Council.
And also Ron Gardner, who we just mentioned, Village of Glenwood, and he is the host at our Government Affairs Committees.
And then we have Lauren Healy from Governor State University.
And Tracy Kelly from Wintrust, who co-chairs our membership committee.
Conrad Peebles from Orland Hills, and he is also on Government Affairs.
And Jennifer Malazzo, Dykstra Home Services, co-chair membership committee.
Jeffrey Revere from Revere Consulting.
And Craig Schmidt, again, from Governor State University, who co-chairs workforce development.
Connie Zims, my chamber mentor, and she is with Bank Financial. Let's give it up for Connie.
And I think she serves on all of our committees.
Yes, true.
Dr. Lynette Stokes, South Suburban College.
And Mr. Mark Thompson from Hanson Engineering, and he co-chairs Government Affairs as well. Give it up for all of our co-chairs, our board of directors, and our executive board.
Okay, thank you. And now at this time, I'd like to ask you to look to the video screen. We're going to have a few things that we're going to be showing right now, so if you want to have a seat, you can enjoy the view.
All right. Thank you all so much, and I have to stop right here, catch my breath, and first and foremost, thank Dr. Terry Winfrey, our president, our day-to-day person. She has worked so hard over the past couple of years. She's got the chamber in an excellent spot, and I am delighted and looking forward to working alongside with her. I also want to give it up to Bionic Content for that beautiful video. They were responsible for the video, and I am truly humbled by what they've put together. I got one more housekeeping thing before I bring up our industry giants. I want to apologize. We missed Mayor Ford. I can't miss Mayor Ford. Mayor Ford, Thank you for being here. We're sorry that we missed you on the check-in list. Mayor Ford, the mayor of Country Club Hills, is in the house with us. I am thrilled to chair this premier chamber in the South region, the Chicago Southland Chamber. All I can say is let's get together and get ahead. A strong America starts right here in this room. And you all, we have the intellectual capital and the relationships to take America by storm. And I do mean America. I've served my country proudly, and I believe the Chicago Southland can take America by storm through God. Thank you, Apostle. He did this, like, don't forget who's doing it now. Allow me to share a quick fun fact. The SBA says that 99.9% of all businesses, I'm getting feedback, Marcellus, 99.9% of all businesses in America are small businesses, which is defined as anyone who employs 500 or fewer. You account for 64% of the new jobs in America, and you contribute nearly 50% to America's economic vitality. At this point, I've got to pause and ask every business owner, stand on your feet and be recognized for what you mean to the Southland, for what you mean to America, for what you mean to people who are looking for jobs and services. We appreciate what you do. I salute what you do. Continue to do what you do. America is a better place because of business owners. Thank you so much. I'm excited about the prospects of the Chamber because we offer such a broad variety of services to help businesses, nonprofits, and municipalities to grow and flourish. In fact, we all know that your network does determine your net worth. Your network determines your net worth, and that's why I like the work that we do at the Chamber. By nature, people are inclined to do business with folks they know, like, and trust. The best way to get to know somebody, and the best way to get to like somebody, and the best way to get to trust somebody is to spend time in their presence. And that's what we do at the Chamber. We host business after hours to help businesses come together and get to know each other. What we do at the Chamber is we highlight various businesses. They host us every month, a different place. So you get to know that business and the other members in the room. Please continue to join us at our business after hours. Also appreciative for our elected officials. They're our friends. So grateful to have so many of them here. In addition to the work of the legislative team under the leadership of not only Ron Gardner, but also Rick Bryant, we host legislative series where our legislators come and they tell us about what programs are out there, what trends look like, what grant opportunities exist. So please join us with our legislative series. COVID revealed that healthcare gaps are real, and we have a proliferation of mental illness. COVID showed us that. That's why our Health Council, under the leadership of Paul Donahue from the University of Chicago Medicine, he will continue our work on social determinants in healthcare. Please join us for that workshop. Workforce development, one that's near and dear to my heart, under the leadership of our very own Craig Schmidt, who was a past president and works for GSU, as well as Steve Papageorge from Moraine Community College. They will continue to marry workforce needs, industry trends, and training to make certain we are able to provide the talent pool that's necessary to meet your employment needs in the Southland. And gentlemen, if you would allow me to take some chairwoman privilege, one of the other things I would like to do is I would like to introduce a plan for us to have industry experts, much like the ones you'll see on this stage tonight, and our elected officials, to hear from them maybe once a month via podcast to talk about equity fund offerings, venture capitalist opportunities, and those government grants and programs we talked about. Let's bring Wall Street and LaSalle Street to the Southland. Y'all with me? Lastly, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I know Terry won't mind too bad. We need a third airport like we need oxygen. The third airport is the economic inoculation we have been waiting for in the Southland. We have to align and come together and all support that third airport. Now, as a woman of faith, I am grateful for being born into a family who taught me the power and the importance of prayer. I want to thank my family members who are here. I want to thank my friends, both personal and professional. I want to thank all my mentors. Some of y'all didn't even know y'all were my mentors, and you were. If you are not a member of this chamber, I hope you join this year. Members, I hope you increase your engagement this year. Officers, board members, and co-chairs, thank you for your investment of time, talent, and collaboration. Before I introduce our special guest for the evening, allow me just one more moment to emote. Man, I promise I'm gonna shut up. Y'all know I'm dangerous with a mic. I'm grateful for the tremendous professional acumen I received from that very first employer who gave a little chocolate girl from Morgan Park an opportunity to compete in corporate America. I thank Northern Trust for the corporate acumen they gave me. And I know I've got some of my Northern Trust friends here. Thank you, Northern Trust. But right now, y'all, I am most grateful for my current employer, ComEd. And in case y'all didn't know, we power lives. In case you didn't know, we power lives. My VP, Keisha Parker, another VP, Bruce Davis, my former director, Ron, Tangela, and the whole South Region team. I am so grateful for all of you all. But Keisha, I love you to the moon and back, and I cherish your support and leadership. Keisha called me this morning. She was like, Bonita, I got you. You focus on tonight. I was like, thank you, Jesus. So I love you and I appreciate you. My BFF, my confidant, my sounding board, and the man who shares unconditional love with me, my fiance, Mr. Carl Estelle. Thank you, Carl, for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for dealing with me when I'm amazing and when I'm crazy. But crazy is what makes me amazing. All right, it's time to bring up the giants. Y'all ready for the giants? All right, without further ado, I am so happy to introduce these industry titans who I have the pleasure to refer to as my friends. They are accomplished examples of what businesses who have grown and transformed and flourished looks like. Our program books weren't large enough to hold their bios and their accomplishments, but each of them is Googleable, so that said something in and of itself. Their websites say it all, but I gotta tell you a little something about them. First and foremost, John, I just love you to pieces. Thank you so much, Mr. John Rogers, founder, chairman, co-CEO, and CIO of Ariel Investments. That's right, give it up, give it up. John received an AB in economics from Princeton University, where he also served as captain of the varsity basketball team. John is active both civically and professionally based on his belief that these engagements make him a better leader and a better investor. Beyond Ariel, he is also a member of the board of directors for McDonald's, for Nike, the New York Times, Ryan Specialty Group Holdings, and the Obama Foundation. John also serves as vice chair of the Board of Trustees for the University of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming John Rogers to the stage. Michelle Ringgold. Michelle, wave at me, please, because I went looking for you earlier and I couldn't find you. Yay! Okay, Michelle Ringgold. Michelle is a CPA, MBA, president and CEO of Ringgold Financial Management Services, which is a certified public accounting firm. Michelle graduated magna cum laude, magna cum laude from DeVry University, earning a Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting. She is a CPA and earned her MBA from Roosevelt University. Michelle has a strong passion for education, mentoring, and developing others, which is demonstrated in her volunteer services. She has served on various boards, including Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce, CCPA of Roosevelt University, Chicago State University Foundation, the Chicago Women in Trades. She also served as the finance committee for Ace Tech Charter High School and developed the initial financial budget for this approved charter school. Dang, I forgot to tell y'all that John started a charter school too. All right, let me go back to Michelle. She is a member of the Construction Financial Management Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ms. Michelle Ringgold. Marty King. Technically, his government name is Martin King, but I affectionately refer to him as Marty King. Founder and CEO of MLK Enterprises, Marty holds a Bachelor's of Science from University of Illinois. Go ahead, Urbana people. All right, yeah, I figured I'd hear that. And he also holds a JD from University of Illinois Law School. Marty was formerly managing owner of MKMB Restaurants, which owned 21 Burger Kings since 2009, which generated $28 million in annual revenues with 630 employees. I met Marty at Rainbow Push, as I did John as well, where he served as the chairman of the board from 2001 to 2009, managing a $15 million budget. How you gonna say you managed it? I did all the work. Anyway, get this out your bio. I served under him as the Chief Operating Officer from 2002 to 2007. Marty is also the founder of MKMB Corporation, which owned 32 U.S. cellular stores from 2003 to 2008. And he's a great example of joint venturing. MKMB Corporation partnered with Oak Hill Capital Partners to purchase WOW Cable Internet, the largest cable company in the U.S., for $285 million. Marty, please join us at the stage. All right. You know what? I think I want to stay here. Can I stay here? I want to stay here, though. Let them sit down. I'll stand up. Let them sit down. Yeah. Let the guests have a seat. I'm gonna keep standing. I finally kind of tuned my glasses right, so I don't want to twist my head too hard to the left or right. Let me stay right here while they're working.
And I serve 2001 to 29.
Whatever, Marty. Okay, John, you know I got to start with you. John, your interest, I know, in financial services was piqued at an early age because for your birthday and for Christmas, instead of your father buying you toys, he bought you stocks. Can you help us understand how you transitioned from enjoying playing with stock as a kid to now having $16.2 billion in assets, 5 mutual funds, and 123 employees? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, thanks so much. It's an honor to be here, and it has been a long journey. Ariel is 40 years old this year, and I do give my father a lot of credit. You know, my dad was a Tuskegee Airman. He flew over 100 missions and came back to Chicago. He'd gone to Chicago State for college. After being in the Air Force, he came back home to Chicago and talked his way into the University of Chicago Law School. And they first told him no, but he showed up the next day in his captain's uniform and convinced them to give him a test. And he passed the test, and he met my mom on the first day of school. My mom was the first African-American woman to graduate from the University of Chicago Law School in 1946. So I was very, very fortunate to have these pioneering parents. And so to your question, not only did my dad give me stock certificates instead of toys, it'd be like $200 of Commonwealth Edison. He wasn't rich, but he let me keep the dividend checks. And I fell in love with the stock market. I just loved the way you could make real money in the markets. And I played basketball at Princeton, as you mentioned, and my coach, Pete Carrill, who is in the Hall of Fame, basically said I had no idea what I was doing on the basketball court. So I had to focus on my other love when I got home. And I think the last important point was my parents were, part of the South Side of Chicago community. Everybody lived together. Everyone went to school together. We all knew each other. And I got to know John Johnson, who became a role model and mentor, as we all know, the founder of Ebony and Jet, and George Johnson, who created Afro Sheen and Ultra Sheen, and had over 500 employees. Many people don't know that George Johnson started Independence Bank that became the largest black bank in the country, started Soul Train with Don Cornelius. He did all these extraordinary things, and Urban League dinner every year, George Johnson was responsible for over 60 tables. And Marty and Bonita know when Dr. King came to Chicago, he was there to make sure that we could raise the money to keep the civil rights movement moving in the right direction at a critical time. And of course, when Reverend Jackson came to Chicago, he was there to made Reverend Jackson feel at home here in Chicago and helped in many, many ways. So I say that my journey really was building on the shoulders of these extraordinary entrepreneurs that had all built businesses of scale. They were role models, and they gave us a path. They told us it was important to get involved in our community, fight for economic justice, and fight for all of us every single day. So again, my journey is really because of those leaders here in the Chicagoland area. So thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you, thank you. All right, Ms. Michelle, you own a very successful auditing firm. And as a woman-owned business, what advice would you offer the women in this room?
Wow. First, I would say definitely make sure your purpose is clear. Don't be afraid of growth. Take advantage of certified and women-owned programs that help you get you access. Master your craft. Be good at what you do. Don't be afraid to charge the right rates. I went for 5 years with clients being afraid to increase my rates, although my service was meeting or exceeding expectations. Balancing family, business, personal. I couldn't do it without that man over there, my husband. I had a great support system. 17 years ago, supported me then and continues to support me.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm gonna bounce back to you, John, then I'm coming to you next, Marty. Get ready, get ready. There is data showing the wealth gap between majority and minority communities has become significantly larger over the past decade. What responsibility, from your judgment, do you think businesses, and particularly businesses in the Chicagoland area, what responsibility do they have that might address these growing gaps?
Well, I think we have to hold these large anchor institutions, not only the local corporations, but the hospitals, the universities, the museums. They spend enormous amounts of money. We all know, especially post George Floyd's murder, everyone's saying how important it is to build up strong black businesses. But they're always forgetting that we need to have customers too. So many people talk about access to capital, and that's important. We need capital. But we need customers. We all know that. In your audit business, you need customers. So these anchor institutions, these local businesses or the local nonprofits have to make a commitment to work with minority businesses in everything we do. Not just in, it's very important to do construction, it's very important to do catering, et cetera, but our economy's evolved over the last 40 to 50 years.
Absolutely.
And it's become a professional services economy, it's become a technology-based economy, it's become a financial services-based economy. So what these anchor institutions have to do, if they want to make a dent in this wealth gap, is to do business with black and brown people in the parts of the economy where the wealth's being created today, where the real profits are and the real opportunity is. And last thing I'll say, the Civic Committee here in Chicago, our business leadership group, downtown, the 84 largest businesses, they got this data from McKinsey and BCG with the help of Jim Lowry and Associates. And it shows that the #1 spend in Chicago area is professional and financial services. $80 billion with profit margins 5 to 20%. Construction, which I said is important, is number 10, $25 billion with profit margins at less than 1%. We want to do that business, but we want to do business in the parts, again, where the economy, where the profit margins are and the cash flow is. and then this wealth gap will get better and better for us, and we can bring back the kind of large businesses of scale that George Johnson and John Johnson represented.
All right, thank you, John. One of the things that Marty used to always preach and teach during my Rainbow Push days was the importance of multiple streams of income. And Marty has done a wonderful job being demonstrative of someone who has multiple streams of income. Can you tell us, how do you manage multiple streams of income simultaneously? I can barely do one job.
I think you do about 10 jobs, Bonita, for real.
It's true, I do.
She's grandmother extraordinaire, I know that for a fact. But first, let me give praise and honor to God for the opportunity to be of service. My brother, Reverend Carl White, and my golf partner is here. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Carolyn Palmer and Luana Peters, two women that raised me up through Rainbow Push. I'm able to sit on the stage with two extraordinary people and Bonita because of Rainbow Push. And Luana Peters and Carolyn Palmer are a big part of that. So give them all a round of applause for me.
All right.
And my daughter, Raquel, is here. She's a special ed teacher. She went to the University of Illinois and went to Whitney Young, just like I did. She's here, Raquel. And all those new Lux Leaf billboards you see on I-57, the owner of Lux Leaf Dispensary, a cannabis dispensary, is coming here. I am the landlord, and Brian Nix is the owner of the new Lux Leaf in Matson. So, Bonita, the way I manage, really I follow your weekly timesheet. Bonita used to have these staff meetings at Push on every Monday. And she created, Reverend Jackson and I were just talking about this yesterday. He was trying to make it, but he couldn't make it just this late. But he was trying to get out here, Bonita. He just sent me a text that he couldn't make it. I learned how to manage many businesses from Bonita. She doesn't even know this. She had this spreadsheet where she would make every person, at the time we might have had 60 staff members that worked for Rainbow Push, and Bonita knew exactly what they were working on, what their goals were, when they'd be finished with a project. And I took that same formula and used it in business. I mean, we owned the Burger Kings, the US Sailors, the Verizons, we had restaurants, and we had cable television, and we still have cable television. Now we're into cannabis and real estate and some other things. But in my notes, I just want to say for the record, I have 2 pages of notes. I mentioned the exact same things about growing up in a community. John and his mother, Jewel LaFontaine, he didn't give her justice. Jewel LaFontaine was one of the greatest African-American women to ever grace Chicago and America. She was a special advisor to, I believe, Nixon, Ford, and Reagan, right, John? Is that correct? And she ran for Congress.
No, she didn't run for Congress.
She didn't run for Congress?
No. Richard Nixon, we actually have in writing, said that he had my mom on the short list, that if he had one more Supreme Court justice pick, he would have picked her to be on the Supreme Court. So that was something that was pretty special.
So, and also, yeah, I'll give her a round of applause, Jewel LaFontaine. So John lived down the street. I lived on the block where Obama lives now. And down the street on the corner was Kwame Raoul, the current Attorney General. Around the corner was Jesse Jackson's office. Down the street was Muhammad Ali. Down the street from him was Minister Farrakhan. Down the street from that was Frank Brooks, who owned Brooks Sausage. Down the street from there was Harold Washington and Tony Preckwinkle. I used to deliver her groceries. So I learned at an early age to bother every adult that I knew because I wanted to be somebody. And so to be somebody, I felt I needed to know everybody. So I made it my business, like John said. I used to have lunch with John Johnson once a month in high school. Reverend Jackson and Dr. King would not be where they wouldn't have been able to take our people where they did without the support of a John Johnson, a George Johnson, a Cirillo McSween, who owned the McDonald's and owned Independence Bank. And Dr. King had Stanley Levinson out of New York, Harry Belafonte, he had James Brown and Aretha Franklin. But what John didn't mention, that in our generation, the support of Rainbow Push and the National Action Network and NAACP and Urban League has been Ariel Capital. He is the new John Johnson. John and Melody have kept the 4 civil rights organizations alive over the last 2 decades. That is a true fact.
I can vouch for
And-
that. I used to call John when I couldn't make
And
payroll.
then I also like to say that through John and Melody's and Jim Reynolds' example, it's up to us now, the younger generation, to be in business and be a partner to the community and community organizations and give up your time. I was running 5 businesses and still gave Reverend Jackson 30 hours a week for free as chairman because he paid for me to go to college and law school out of his own pocket. I became his travel assistant, never got paid, but I got to meet everybody in the world. I got to meet John Rogers. I got to meet Beyonce, Jay-Z, Harry Belafonte, Shaq, Magic. I got to meet every CEO in the top 100, and they all knew me by name. I've known every president since Nixon because of my relationship with Jesse Jackson. So I am blessed to sit on this stage and talk to you all, but I'm a blessed fatherless kid who looked to other leaders to fill that gap and fill that void. So thank you, Bonita.
Thank you for your transparency. That was a lot. I wasn't expecting all that. Thank you, Marty. So here's the one thing that I'd like to ask each of you, and John, I'm gonna start with you. The chamber. I'm excited about the chamber because, again, I see value in people coming together, supporting each other, doing business with each other, growing, etc. Could you all tell me, starting with you, John, what value you would add or ascribe to people being a part of an organization such as the chamber?
Well, I think it's so important for us to learn to work together, and there's so much more power when we're all together. We can put pressure on the local institutions, the way Reverend Jackson used to force these companies to live up to the values that they say, and the nonprofits, and again, the hospitals, the universities. The second thing that I think we can do is live the values of the late Congressman John Lewis. You know, he always said that if you're in a leadership role and you see things that are not right, they're not just, you have a responsibility to speak up, make good trouble. You know, all of us here in the room are leaders. We're leaders in our church. We're leaders in a local nonprofit. We're leaders in our corporate world. Wherever we are, we're leaders. And we're making decisions on who gets economic opportunity. If all of us are speaking up and speaking out and fighting for equal economic opportunities for each of us here in the room, opportunities will come our way and we'll be able to create wealth. We'll get larger. We'll get to scale. We can help each other. So I think we need to learn from each other how to make a difference in our leadership roles and how to make a difference by bringing along women and people of color and from disadvantaged backgrounds to have an equal opportunity to fully participate in our capitalist democracy.
All right. Thank you, John. Excellent answer. Michelle, you want to take a stab at that? What's the importance of
That's a
people
hard act to
joining like a
follow.
chamber? I know. Give us your best.
No, but I really do agree that we do have to work together, but we also have to support one another and be willing to uplift folks that may be a little lower and trying to get where you're at. I just remember organizations like the chambers being able to provide supportive services, or going to a larger African American CPA firm and knocking on the door and just trying to partner and get that opportunity. And folks like you guys, the willingness. I'm sitting next to you guys and I'm like, wow. I own, my husband and I, a craft grow business, Galaxy Labs. We are number 2 going to the market, opening in May. People didn't think we can do it. And here I'm sitting next to a dispensary owner at our table. Social equity is very important, and we need to support one another.
And by the way, I need all y'all to join the chamber. I'm just saying. Okay, Marty, go ahead.
I really believe, I think I'm a product of community service. I was knocking on doors for Harold Washington, Come Alive October 5. I was doing deputy voter registration with Luanna Peters, who taught me to be a deputy registrar, she and Alice Tregay. I believe that the chamber and small business organizations are the reason and the opportunity you could become a large African American or female or Latino-owned business, because that's where you meet people, and you meet people that can help you elevate yourself. But Bonita, I would like to add that you mentioned the fact about small business. America leads in only 3 things. 3 things America leads in: small business development, the number of incarcerated citizens per capita, Defense spending, we spend more than the next 25 countries combined. 24 of them are allies. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 49th in life expectancy, 148th in infant mortality, 3rd in household income, 4th in labor force, and 4th in exports. Small business is one of the only highlights of what we do well in America.
Yep, John, you want to say something?
I'm sorry, I just want to say one quick thing. Thank you, Marty, and thanks for the shout out, Marty, too. I really appreciate it. But one thing I was going to say, one other thing the Chamber can do is celebrate the anchor institutions that are doing great work.
That's right.
You know, you talk about a Commonwealth Edison and Exelon. The University of Chicago works with over 100 minority businesses. Marty talked about Cyril McSween and being a McDonald's owner-operator. We know Willie Wilson created a lot of wealth being a owner-operator as well as a supplier to McDonald's. We know the Northern Trust does a great job with the minority board and business leadership. So we need to celebrate those folks who are doing things the right way, and hopefully that'll shame the folks that talk a good game and don't do anything to do the right thing.
Oh my goodness, we could go on all night. Okay, we only got one question left yet, y'all, one round of questions. So John, the question I have for you, what advice would you give a small business that desires to grow? A small business that's just starting out, but they want to get to be $16.2 billion in assets, like you.
Well, it's not my money, as you know, it's our mutual fund shareholders and our institutional clients it's not my money. So, I'll be crystal clear.
Get a piece of it.
And we are a rounding error
Small
compared to Fidelity and Vanguard, and we are little. So I just want to be clear about that. No, but I think one of the key things, you know, we always say we need access to capital. I talked about that earlier. But the most important thing for a small entrepreneur, I think, is having great talent with you. You know, I had a great friend who helped me start the business, who I'd gone to high school with. I met Melody Hobson 36 years ago when she was a prospective Princeton student, and I was recruiting minority students for Princeton. She's been at Ariel 32 years, and of course, she's just extraordinary. You know, she's the chairman of Starbucks. She's on the J.P. Morgan Chase board. She's one of the most dynamic, successful business leaders in the country, and we couldn't do everything we do if we didn't have those kind of partners and those kind of business leaders. So for small businesses, if you want to get big, you've got to attract the talent. And I found that volunteering for my alma mater, helping Princeton recruit students, I met my most valuable player. And as Marty said, getting involved in the community, helping, you meet great people, good things happen, and maybe some of those folks can help you to build your business when you meet them and hire them full time.
Thank you, John. Good answer. Marty, do you believe there is value in forging relationships with elected officials? We've got a lot of hardworking elected officials in this room who we love and adore and who come alongside of us. Do you think there's value in businesses having a relationship with their elected official? If so, why?
Well, absolutely, and I can give you a direct example from people sitting in this room, Al Davis, Will Davis, and our mayor, Sheila Kern, and Anthony's here. They made it a point to make sure when they accepted that they were going to allow cannabis in the village of Matson, they made sure that we had all the tools that we needed to get open. They were fair, just, they worked expeditiously to help us acquire the real estate, to help the business get open. So I absolutely believe that having support from elected officials and getting involved. I mean, my career started after law school right out here in the 2nd Congressional District. Jesse Jr. and I recruited Robin Kelly to run for state rep. Will knows that. Will was Jesse's driver when we started. Now he's a state rep. Jesse Jr. and I started driving the district after we graduated from law school. And we said, we are running for Congress and we are going to build a 3rd airport in the Southland. This was 1994. Rick Bryant knows the story. Bonita knows the story. It was our idea to say, hey, if they can have jobs and downtown economic development downtown, we can have jobs and access and transportation out this way. And that's what we ran on in 95 and we won. Unfortunately, Jesse had some challenges, but we asked Robin to step up. She was passed the torch, and now she's one of the greatest congresswomen that we've ever had to serve in the Southland. So I absolutely believe that public service and elected officials and business go hand in hand because we all need each other to ring those bells and make sure corporate America and institutions do the right thing, and not just because a young African American gets brutalized by the police.
All right, all right. Well,
I have to thank somebody because he opened it up, and that's the Village of Richmond Park, President Rick Rainbow and the Village of Richmond Park. When we came to them to get our craft grow business on the ground, we presented to them. They supported us. They were happy to see that our group was black and brown. They helped us through the process, and I want to thank you guys because we couldn't do it without you. And we got access now to generational wealth. Thank you.
I think the question is answered. Small businesses do need to have a great relationship with our elected officials. You guys, I could go on all night, but we can't. This has been wonderful. Last closing thought for each of you. Is there one thing, one salient closing advice that you would give to any business owner in this room? Is there one thing that sticks out in your mind as a successful business owner that you would say, if you own a business, you should do this or you shouldn't do that? And what would that one thing be? And John, I'm gonna start with you again.
Well, I said earlier, I think the most important thing is to have really great people around you. Maybe one thing I would add, we have a really great board of directors at Ariel Investments. We've met every quarter for the last 40 years. We've never missed a board meeting. And currently on our board, we have people like Valerie Jarrett. We have on our mutual fund board, the former Attorney General, Eric Holder. We have people like that who are there fighting with us to help make our business strong. And many people don't like having a board, but we have smart, strong, dynamic people on our board that make us better and push us to be the best we can be.
Thank you, thank you. Michelle?
Well, I agree with that with people. But let me think of something out the box, and I think it would have to be overcoming your fear. I just, it took me 5 years to even start the company, and I had to understand and realize that my fear was blocking my creativity and me excelling. And how I overcame that was, first of all, understanding what's the worst thing that can happen and evaluating that and saying, okay, well, if I fail, I gotta go back to work. Or Rick's gonna have to give me some more money. But at the end of the day, I think really overcoming your fear as a leader is critical.
Okay, Marty, you're one.
I say it's really three things. If you can't see it, you can't have it. I believe what John said about paying it forward. John has always paid it forward. There are some of us who have access to some of the personal items of John Rogers because he wants everybody to enjoy them. He pays it forward. And then the last thing I would say is be of service. Mm-hmm. I got my first business. Luana Peters knows this because Bobby Rush was head of the telecommunications committee, and I wanted a cell phone store. So the president of Ameritech said to me, if you get me a meeting with Jesse Jackson, Sr., and Bobby Rush, I'll get you into the cell phone program and give you one store, and I won't give you any money. You got to do it on your own. And I got him that meeting, and 6 months later, we had the first Ameritech store black-owned in Chicago on 87th and the Dan Ryan. Wow. But it was service that got me the opportunity.
If that's the case, I should have some real good opportunity coming soon. I sit on the board at Cornerstone. Cornerstone, I love you all so much. I preside over that board. I love everything that they do. I love what I'm doing with the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce. I can't even remember. Harvey School District 152 Education Foundation. I don't know if y'all in here, but I serve on that board. I do what I do because ComEd affords me that opportunity to make a difference in the community that we serve. And again, Keisha, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for ComEd. I'm happy to be able to serve and connect the dots. And at this point, can you join me in just giving a round of applause one more time? And John, now Marty and Michelle, don't y'all get mad at me. I'm gonna get y'all next time. But John drove a long way to come out here with us. So I wanna give him his first token of joining downtown Chicago with the Chicago Southland. We're giving you this nice vest that has Ariel Investments and the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce all in one place. And you also have a few other little trinkets to come along with it. Got you a couple of golf scarves here or golf towels here, even though I know you'll probably end up using them for basketball. But thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for our guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank
you. Hey, Bonita, I'd like to, I got the mic now. Wrong thing, give a Jesse Jackson kid a mic. I got one more thing to say. It's very important. And I know John's gonna whoop me later for saying this. But no if there was no John Rogers, there wouldn't have been a state Senator Obama, a U.S. Senator Obama, or President Obama. He was the first person financially to support Obama. That's a true story. I was in the room.